Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Expert, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. My name is Jess and we do these live streams every single weekday, so make sure to tune in and like every single day and help us get the channel pushed onto more people's For You pages so that we can reach 100,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. That would be absolutely lovely. Right now we are going to take a look at the latest cryptocurrency news, see what's going on here. Now, yesterday we did have a little bit of a pullback for Bitcoin, so we will be discussing that today and seeing what else is going on. I hope everybody had a lovely Christmas day and happy Boxing Day to those who celebrate. But let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin now and see what's going on here. Bitcoin is currently trading at $42,566. Ethereum is at $2,235 as well. So both down around 1.5% within the last 24 hours. For the past week, we haven't seen too much movement. Ethereum down slightly by 0.2% and Bitcoin down 1.3%, but we haven't really seen too much movement there. We did see quite a lot of liquidations yesterday, so we'll touch on that. Let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin here. Jason Smith, thank you very much for tuning in once again. I very much appreciate it. All the way from Australia. I am back now on the streams. I have just been traveling in Australia for 3 weeks, having a lovely time in the sunshine, but I'm now back to rainy England. And I am trying to deal with the jet lag, but it's so hard. I'm so tired all of the time. And I got back on Thursday, so it's now been Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So I'm on day 5 or 6 since landing back in the UK, and the jet lag is absolutely horrendous. So that was a bit of a spoiler for Christmas. But let's take a look at what's going on for the price of Bitcoin here anyway. Bitcoin did see a quick move to the downside to below $43,000, $42,150 there, and that was in the last couple of hours. We did see a little bit of a pullback yesterday, or on Christmas Eve, on the evening of Christmas Eve as well. So we have seen these pullbacks a couple of times now, and they have created some liquidations in the markets. So if we take a look at one of these stories here, let's find the right one. There is a story here that says Bitcoin has seen some liquidations. Here we go. This is the story I'm looking for. Bitcoin post-Christmas dip under $43,000 triggers market-wide liquidation of $170 million. So during the past day, despite the prevailing market optimism, we have seen a little bit of a dip for Bitcoin, causing those liquidations in the markets. Now, we're all obviously very bullish on what could happen in 2024. We've all been waiting for a bull market to arrive, and it does feel like 2024 is going to be a good one. Jason Smith says in the chat, 12 months ago, who would have thought Bitcoin would be at $42,000? Exactly. 12 months ago, when we were looking at the price of Bitcoin, it looked absolutely dreadful. And then the 1st of January hit, and things just turned around. If we pull up the daily, let's get this, I can't get that off. There we go. If we go to the daily chart here and you see what happened at 2022, you zoom in here and take a look at this chart here. If you were in the markets at this point in time at Christmas last year, you could clearly see it had been a terrible year. It had not been easy at all. We were just seeing bearish trend after bearish trend, liquidations left, right and center. We were seeing altcoins getting rugged. We were seeing cryptocurrency companies fail. In fact, I'm looking at the wrong one there. Here we go, 2022. This is the year we're meant to be looking at. So we'd seen this 2-year bearish period. Let's pull this out even more. Last Christmas, this is the chart that we were looking at. This is the entire chart. That is the chart we were looking at. And it was incredibly hard to be bullish at that point in time. But those of us that have been in the cycles before and know how the 4-year cycles work, was continuing to accumulate with our fingers crossed that we were going to see some bullish momentum sometime soon. Now, I know that in a bear market, it's easy to look back and say, look, everyone that was in the markets then knew how to accumulate then. It was easy to see that that was a good buying opportunity because the bull market was around the corner. And you can try and convince yourselves in a bear market that it's a really positive thing to do to continue to accumulate, but you do still have those doubts. So it's really nice to see that after that huge accumulation phase where we were buying continuously during that bear market, we have seen some rewards for that. And those that were investing during that bearish time, during that period of uncertainty, have had those rewards, and it has thankfully paid off. Now, we are currently trading at $42,660. We all know that if the 4-year cycles are going to repeat, we should be seeing some pretty nice price movement in 2024. and start to see some nice movements. Jason says, let's hope that the trend is your friend from January 2024. Yes, so on January the 1st, this year, when we hit 2023, Bitcoin just changed the game. It was so bearish in 2022. 2023 hit and it was like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be bullish. And I want it to get even more bullish in 2024. We've seen how Bitcoin can act in bull markets. You can see that we have had some really nice movements to the upside in 2023, but Bitcoin can move even faster than this. We saw this back in 2021, and that is what I'm excited for. We're also seeing some really exciting movements for altcoins as well. So let's take a look at that quickly. If we see what's happened with Solana, Solana is currently trading up 52% for the week at $114. Now, I do know that a lot of projects built on Solana have been performing incredibly well as well. We do have 2 stories about Solana today. Let's cover those now while we're on the topic. What we've got here is Solana has surpassed Bitcoin and Ethereum in weekend trading volumes. So the trading volumes on the Solana network has passed the top 2 largest cryptocurrencies by market cap combined. That is a huge achievement for Solana. Now, in a more negative note, we are seeing Solana cancel Saga phone orders over inventory management issues. So they have launched a mobile phone. A lot of people were buying these in anticipation that they would receive a huge amount of airdrops and lots of exciting things coming with the mobile phone, but unfortunately they have had to cancel many people's phone orders because they hadn't really done the inventory right and they didn't have all of the phones ready for the amount of orders that they received. I do know that Spud, who's been taking these live streams for the last 3 weeks, had ordered a Solana phone, but unfortunately his order was one of the ones that did get cancelled. So we are seeing this happening now in the markets. There is a lot of anticipation and excitement over what airdrops you can receive with these phones. So a lot of people were looking to jump on that and see if those opportunities did come about and did take that risk. So Whole City Group says, no need to doubt the trend anymore. The markets are up. We are fully in a uptrend for Bitcoin on the daily chart. Higher highs, higher lows, and we are hoping that it continues to do so. In a bull market, things like this just do not stop. So if we're staying in these 4-year cycles, we are in for a treat for 2024. We also have the Bitcoin halving in April 2024 as well. So lots of excitement coming for the cryptocurrency industry. And as I said, it's so nice to see this because there are so many doubters when it comes to cryptocurrency, friends, family, or people online doubting whether cryptocurrency is where you should be investing, especially during that bearish period. So just to kind of give some reassurance to everyone that you are investing in the right things is really nice, and just have that nice move to the upside. And it's nice for people to now approach me and say, look, what's happened to Bitcoin? How come it's up over 100% in the last year? Maybe this is something that I should have been looking at. Even though I told them at $16,000, it's nice to see them approaching now rather than when Bitcoin's up at a new all-time high. It's nice to see people wanting to get involved. And this is how Bitcoin works. It's word of mouth. I talk about it, other people learn about it, and then when somebody else mentions it to them, they think, oh, maybe I should be looking at this a little bit more. It just takes 1 or 2 people to talk about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin for somebody to decide that they need to do their own research. Now, if you have friends that want to learn about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin but don't know where to start, make sure to send them to CryptoSavingExpert.com. They can make a completely free account on the Crypto Saving Expert website, and they can take part in some of our courses. We have kept all of the original courses that were free on the website, so they've not gone behind a paywall. We've launched Crypto Saving Expert Plus and created a huge amount more technical courses, more in-depth courses for our CSE Plus members, but the courses that were originally on the website that were free are still free. So if you have any friends that are coming into crypto and want to learn more about crypto, send them over to CryptoSavingExpert.com. They can make a free account and they can educate themselves using our Crypto 101 section and teach themselves about Bitcoin and about cryptocurrency. And I think that is really important and something the space was really lacking. When I first got into cryptocurrency, I really felt like I had no place to start because we've gone from really struggling to be able to find information like 10-20 years ago to having so much information on the website, on the internet, that you just have to sift through it, and it's really hard to decide where to start, where to begin educating yourself on a completely new topic. So with Crypto Saving Expert, we chose to make these courses for free so that people have that structured education, because that's what people really need to learn. So if you have any friends that want to get into crypto, send them over to the website. They can sign up for free. free. They can check it all out and they can just gain that understanding of what the industry is, and hopefully it will entice them into getting more involved in the space, because that is really our goal, to help grow the space with more educated people rather than people that are just investing in meme coins aimlessly with no real understanding of what's happening. We want educated people in the industry, and that's why we've created all of these courses on Crypto Saving Expert. Let's take a look at what is going on in the cryptocurrency news, though. Let's move on to the next stories here. We've quickly touched on Solana there. We've touched on the amount of liquidations we've seen from the post-Christmas dip. Let's move on to what's going on with the spot Bitcoin ETF. So, as I've said, we've got a lot of excitement in the markets right now for what could come in 2024. A lot of anticipation about spot Bitcoin ETFs there as well. So I want to touch on this and the excitement that there is there. Spot Bitcoin ETFs could, in my opinion, change the cryptocurrency space. We have seen that spot Bitcoin ETFs could drive a huge amount of adoption for the cryptocurrency industry. If you take a look at how gold performed following a gold ETF launch, you can see that it was very bullish for the asset, the underlying asset. And a lot of analysts are predicting that we will see the same results for Bitcoin. Now, crypto investment products are seeing $103 million in inflows ahead of a Bitcoin ETF. So a lot of people are trying to front run the acceptance of a spot Bitcoin ETF and trying to get involved in the space before that news hits, before that accumulation hits, and before that wave of adoption comes for the space. So crypto-related investment products have received $103 million in inflows last week, bringing the year-to-date flow to almost $2 billion. So this is data from CoinShares, and they've said that Bitcoin related products saw $87.6 million of the total inflows recorded last week. This brings its monthly flow to $95.5 million and its year-to-date flow to $1.758 billion. Additionally, the assets under management now sit at $37.36 billion. So a huge amount of money flooding into the cryptocurrency space. We've said this before and we have said this again. 2024 should be very, very interesting. These spot Bitcoin ETFs allow a huge amount of adoption for the cryptocurrency space. In a bull market, we see a huge amount of retail investors wanting to get into the industry and get exposure to the Bitcoin price, but they find it difficult to do so because, first of all, they don't understand self-custody. Second of all, there's so many cryptocurrency exchanges out there. And third of all, we hear all of these scary stories about cryptocurrency. Everybody feels like they don't have anybody to trust. Now, first of all, with FTX collapsing in 2022, that is not going to help the trust for the centralized exchanges. These people that come into crypto and want to get exposure to cryptocurrency and Bitcoin in a bull market already feel like they're too late. They don't feel like they've got time to research and do all of that education. Instead, they just want to buy. And having a spot Bitcoin ETF makes that so much easier for them to do. So they can just invest in the ETF like they can any other stock, and the ETF is pegged to the price of Bitcoin. So it's the perfect solution for those retail investors that just want to get some skin in the game as quick as possible with as little effort as possible. We could also see pensions and many other major investment opportunities just hedging and putting a little bit of money into Bitcoin, maybe allocating 1% of their portfolios into Bitcoin. And that could see a huge amount of adoption for Bitcoin and a huge flush of money into the cryptocurrency space, which is what we all like to see. Let's take a look at what else we have here, though, because although that was super bullish on what a spot Bitcoin ETF could bring for the cryptocurrency space, Arthur Hayes, the CEO of BitMEX, has said something different. Now, he has said that we should be a little bit cautious over these spot Bitcoin ETFs because the BlackRock will completely destroy Bitcoin. So let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. Basically, what Arthur Hayes is warning us of here is if ETFs managed by asset managers are too successful, they will completely destroy Bitcoin. So he's saying, look, all these ETFs could be really good, but if they get too good, they could destroy Bitcoin. And how could that happen? So what we could see here is companies like BlackRock accumulate a huge amount of Bitcoin. Now, let's take a look at this. Hayes argued that if BlackRock, which is an asset accumulation game, vacuums up all the Bitcoin, there will be no more Bitcoin transactions, and those who secure the Bitcoin network in return for fees and newly minted Bitcoin, known as miners, would be unable to afford the energy it costs to secure the network. As a result, they would shut off their machines. Without the miners, the network network dies, the Bitcoin vanishes. Now, I think this is a really far-fetched view of what could happen here. Let's take a look at this. He's also predicted China is about to flood the world with yuan credit. We'll move on to that in just a second. The death of Bitcoin would create space for another crypto monetary network to grow in its place. We'll come on to that in just a second. Let's first talk about the fears around the spot Bitcoin ETF. Yes, BlackRock could accumulate a huge amount of Bitcoin. I mean, we are all aware that BlackRock have the power to do that, have the money to do that, and are prepared to do that. But when it comes to Bitcoin miners, what would happen is if Bitcoin miners turn off their computers, mining the blockchain becomes easier again. So then it becomes easier. So then people with weaker machines can turn on their machines and start to mine Bitcoin. There's always people that are going to want to mine Bitcoin. I don't think Bitcoin can die at this point in time. It's such a big network. For Bitcoin to die, people need to stop mining the network altogether. There's not only the option for the current miners to continue mining. What's happened over time is, I'm sure if you've heard about Bitcoin back in the early stages in 2010, 2011, 2012, people were mining Bitcoin on their laptops. It was pretty easy to mine Bitcoin at first, but then as more and more people began to mine Bitcoin and more computational power was put towards the Bitcoin network, the difficulty to mine Bitcoin has to increase. The network has to increase the difficulty. It's programmed into Bitcoin to increase the difficulty to mine Bitcoin in order to make sure that not too many blocks are mined at once. So it's actually programmed into Bitcoin. If there's loads of mining power going to the network, it should be difficult to actually put a block onto the blockchain to make sure that the blocks are only every 10 minutes. Now, because of that, because Bitcoin is programmed to make it harder to successfully mine a block, computers and laptops are no longer good enough to mine the Bitcoin. So we now have specifically created hardware to mine Bitcoin, and that difficulty has increased and increased and increased. The hardware has got better and better and better as the Bitcoin network has evolved, has grown, and more energy is put into the network. Now, if it so happens that it's no longer profitable to mine Bitcoin, those miners with the most expensive computers that push all of that power into the network may have to turn off. And yes, that may be an initial shock for the Bitcoin network, but it means that those with weaker hardware, weaker computers can turn theirs back on again and make some profit. So there's always that scale, and we'll always be shifting above them all. And I would also like to put into place that when China banned mining of Bitcoin, everyone thought, oh my gosh, this is a horrendous thing. This major country that mines Bitcoin can no longer mine Bitcoin, but it just dispersed the mining even further, made it more decentralized. So there is still positives here, and although there are constantly shifts in mining, we are seeing mining companies change. We've seen a couple of mining companies shut down in the bear market. Yes, it's a shame. Yes, it means there's less power going into the network as an immediate effect, but over time, we're getting more dispersed mining, we're getting more decentralized network, and that's what we're all here for. So I don't think that this scenario could exactly play out as simply put as Hayes has put it here, but I think this is to make people aware that BlackRock may not always have the best intentions when it comes to making this spot Bitcoin ETF, and we all need to be aware of it. But back to the exciting parts of spot Bitcoin ETFs. They are very exciting. They could bring a huge amount of adoption into the space. We've seen a number of Bitcoin ETF commercials being created by spot Bitcoin ETF applicants right now. So there is a lot of anticipation over what can come in the new year, and I'm very much looking forward to that. Let's take a look at what else is going on away from spot Bitcoin ETFs now. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We do these live streams every single weekday, so make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification button, follow us on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all of the social media platforms to stay up with what's going on in the cryptocurrency news. Let's try and get this channel to 100,000 subscribers in 2024. In 2023, we have not missed a day of live streams every single Monday to Friday, so make sure to help support the channel and push us to more people by interacting with the video as much as possible. James says, morning Jess, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to everybody in the chat. Happy Boxing Day to those who celebrate. I hope you all had a lovely day yesterday. Let's take a look at what's going on in the crypto news here though. So China continuing blockchain research and development despite the crypto ban. So as I've just said, Bitcoin mining has been banned in China, then unbanned and then banned again a couple of times. And we are seeing crypto being banned in in the country. We've seen that this was a couple of years ago now, but they are still continuing their blockchain research and development, trying to understand the technology more and how they can use blockchain technology. And this is something that we want to be seeing worldwide. We don't want to see the ban, but we want to see countries taking the time to research and understand and develop blockchain technology and see how we can use this. Let's take a look at the next article here. Chainlink co-founder says Bitcoin ETFs will fuel mass institutional adoption. We have just said this, but we can have a quick read through this one. The onset of Bitcoin ETFs could signify a transformative era for traditional banking and DeFi, notes Chainlink's Nazarov. So let's take a look at this. Chainlink's co-founder believes the spot ETF will create a path for institutions to buy Bitcoin en masse and eventually leading to more blockchain products and services. This is a point that we didn't actually touch on before. Although we get to see a huge amount of adoption from retail investors investing via spot Bitcoin ETFs, we could see institutional investors accumulating a huge amount of Bitcoin through these products as well. And that should not be understated. And I would like to highlight as well, every time somebody buys part of a spot Bitcoin ETF product, the asset managers have to have the underlying Bitcoins. That demand will continue to flood into Bitcoin and the price of Bitcoin in our end, even though it's being bought through the ETF. So really good things coming here. James says, Jess, sent you a DM on how to grow your subs on X. Want to see you grow. Yeah, I will take a look at that. I had a glance at it, but I was busy at the time. I'm going to have a read through that. Thank you very much, James. I appreciate the message. Let's take a look at the next one here. Crypto startups in 2023 more likely to offer equity over tokens. So crypto startups were more likely to offer equity over tokens to employees in 2023. I think that was clear why. There was a little bit of uncertainty in the markets. Let's take a look here. Hiring trends in crypto are leaning towards offering equity rather than tokens. Based on data collected from employees at 32 Web3 startups, the survey has revealed a shift in compensation practices. Previously, crypto companies would reward their staff with tokens instead of equity. However, their latest findings indicate that a reversal could be on the cards. So why would this happen? The data implies that crypto startups are exploring new incentives, placing less weight on tokens and more on equity compared to the crypto market of 5 years ago. While it is too soon to be labelled a trend, it will be interesting to see if this continues going forward, as there are a few reasons why equity may be prioritised over tokens. So the last 24 months in crypto have been savage. Maybe people that are getting hired prefer that equity because they don't have that same volatility that they have with cryptocurrency tokens. New startups were launching into a savage bear market, the bereft of the liquidity and market participants. New capital was not entering the space, and new projects were delaying token launches until the winds changed. As that clearly states, if you are a cryptocurrency project, you're a startup and you're looking to launch a token, in a bear market isn't really the time to do it. I mean, I think we've said this before. In a bull market, like the token of a bull market is never one that's been around for the bear market. The new token that comes in and makes all of the gains is typically one that launches like 6 months into 12 months into a bull market. So I don't even think like launching on the 1st of January this year, would have been the best place to go. Yes, that's when the market shifted and we saw that change from $16,000 to $43,000. But I don't think launching in that period of time would have been like a really smart move for a token launch. I think a smart move is going to be like in the next 6 month window. I think that's really the time for tokens to be launching. And it may not be as desirable for employees. And I know that people in crypto love to accumulate as many tokens as possible. And when you're working on a project, you do want to be owning the tokens of the project because that helps motivate you to try and build the project more and more. But I think when you're looking for employment and you get your salary, you get your pay packet, people like to have that kind of stability when it comes to that pay packet, and having equity is seen to be much more stable than having these tokens, especially in a bear market. So it does kind of make sense why we are seeing that shift. Maybe we will see that shift backwards. Now we are seeing a little bit of a bull market again. Let's take a look at the final article of the day. So crypto to reach nearly 1 billion users in 2024, according to a report by Bitfinex. So let's take a look at this quickly. We can take a look at this chart. You can see that Bitfinex's report shared up-to-date user growth figures in the last 12 months. The report bar chart shows there There were 432 million users in January. However, by the end of November, the figure grew to 575 million, representing 143 million users being onboarded to cryptocurrency. Based on Bitfinex's prediction, the number of users within the industry is set to increase by roughly 80%. So AI is the standout performer here in the last year. And I think it's really important at this point in time, while all of these kind of news sites and companies are creating all of these year-ending reports, to take a look at these and look at the trends. Yes, we can take a look at the trends ourselves and look at kind of like the prices, but to look at the trends and look at all of these end-of-year reports from all of these cryptocurrency companies is really going to help you identify what to really be looking at the start of next year, I believe. But we will be here on the live stream every single day next year talking about what's going on in the market. So we'll be doing all of that research and sharing that with you here on the channel. So make sure to like, subscribe and hit that bell notification button. Taking a quick look at what's happening with Bitcoin on the 1 hour chart. You can see we did have a sharp dip this morning, but we are starting to cool off again. We are seeing a little bit of a bounce back. So hopefully we do see some nice movements here. But as I've said, it is the Christmas period. Now we are sort of in this lull between Christmas and New Year. What we tend to see is lower trading volumes, and with the lower trading volumes we either see some sideways action or we do see some small sharp movements though, because the lower trading volumes mean that the price is easier to manipulate essentially. But if we take a look at indicators and go to volume quickly, you can see that on the 4 hour chart is probably best. We have seen a little bit of a drop when it comes to trading volumes over December. Pretty normal, and hopefully when the new year starts and when we hit the 1st of January, things will turn around like they did last year. But we will keep you up to date here on the channel. That is all we have for today's stream, so thank you very much for watching. We will be back here tomorrow with another live update, so make sure to hit that bell notification button so you don't miss it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all